Hi, it is Chris Chen. It's your This Week in Real Estate. I wanted to kind of go over the cost of renting because I get a lot of people who come to me, they talk to me about buying. We look at the numbers, we look at what they're paying in rent right now, we look at what the cost would be if they purchase a property. And sometimes they go, you know what, we just can't make it work. We can't figure it out. We can't afford it. And I'm always kind of perplexed by that because the cost of renting long term has always been shown to be so much more than owning. And more importantly, the equity that people have in their homes is one of the major assets that people tend to have at retirement because you buy a house when you're 40, you keep it, you sell it, you get bigger houses. And then all of a sudden you have a house when you're 70 years old and retired that's paid off. You're not having to pay rent anymore. And you can actually get a reverse mortgage or use the equity in your house to sustain your lifestyle for years and years to come. So I wanted to show this in this letter about what that cost of renting really is. And this is just over a 5-year period. And it really looks at all the factors of what you pay in rent and the opportunity cost of lost depreciation gains that you see in the equity of your home versus what you're paying for your mortgage and what goes to principal and what are tax advantages of being a homeowner, because there are significant deductions for being a homeowner with property taxes and interest on the mortgage as just a couple of the things that make the being advantageous. When you look at these factors, your net payment on owning a house today in today's market, buying a approximately $880,000 house, we used 875 with a 10% down, not even a 20% down number, at 6.5% interest, which was really the prevailing rate of today. Your net payment on that, principal and interest, taxes and insurance, is about $3,300. That same house in Napa would be renting for about $4,000 a month. If we look at what the appreciation is, not the average appreciation that we have in California of almost 6% on annual, but the lower, more conservative estimates that we've been seeing by the economists for the last few years of just having 1 or 2% growth until 4 or 5 years from now, where we have 4% growth. That those are national numbers, but when we just look at those numbers, it's still over 5 years, over $150,000 of appreciation. And when you factor that in the lost appreciation on a monthly basis for your rent, the rent goes from $4,000 to $6,600. So buying a house, yes, your payment today at $6,100 a month is expensive. However, the net payment is $3,300 because a lot of that goes to the principal of your home. So you're paying off the mortgage, so you're adding back to the principal, and you have the write-offs of tax deductions for your property taxes and your interest on the mortgage. When you look at that $3,300 versus nearly double that, and that's just the start, because that compounding of the interest and appreciation on your home is just going to get better over time. I really think that if you are just thinking about it, but you just don't think you're there right now, come in and talk to us. Let's figure out how we can get there and really make it so that you are securing your financial future and having the opportunity to become a homeowner. Thanks so much. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.